Yo, so check this scene. We have to talk about this severely and instantaneously. So there's no way to avoid this situation. You see, lying to the public, it's so blatant right now that I don't even need to run an investigation to show you all this. So Trinidad and Tobago, listen to me well. Today is Monday, August the 10th. On Wednesday is when they issued that they're going to have 30 police posts throughout Trinidad and Tobago. With that being said, sorry for the belch. With that being said, how is it by Saturday afternoon, a 30 by 30 building was already structured in Etihad grounds over a oil pipeline? And Monday, the 10th of August, is when they are having the meetings in regards to not having a police post in Etihad grounds. Make it make sense. Now, on Monday morning, the Express newspapers published an article. We need to rethink where we are having our police post in Trinidad and Tobago right now. This is after a certain concrete company called RockHardCement already got contracts, paid, and started work putting down foundations all over the nation. Now, I want you all to take into reference something that real people did not take reference to. When you're a certain minister with no brain and seem to want people to like you and work in the Ministry of Communication, and suddenly you have what they call it, boy, experience in war tactics. How is it that you just happen to be standing on RockHardCement carnival truck during the carnival period? And then in August, you seem to be giving out only contracts to this company. Is that a coincidence? Right, so let's get to something else now. What is very interesting is that the Grande police station, it is now 10 different occurrences which are all illegal. And somehow people stick their heads in the sand and pretend that they forget of everything transpiring in the Grande station because they have friends working there. It's so nice to have friends working in the Grande police station, it would seem, that certain people who have geriatric homes, certain people who have rental car companies, certain police officers who charge with their wife for not paying out illegal playway situations seem to get a pass on doing illegal things. You think I'm joking? Mr. Fuentes is dead. There's a 24-year-old officer seemed to be suffering from depression that nobody know about, also dead. There seems to be somebody who fell out of a window, dropped on a RAV4, nearly mashed up the entire vehicle. No, he dropped out of the window. He was not pushed out. That's 3 situations I just spoke about. There also seems to be somebody that I know, if she makes a phone call, instantaneously, 1 day later, she gets a COC, even though the network and the system is down. Don't you find that strange? So now I'm going to call you out. Mr. Commissioner Guevara, aka Punchin, aka Punchin. So why don't you tell the nation of a certain person that you keep on visiting frequently, that is very good friends with a lot of other females that I just happen to know. So, Mr. Guevara, just like that dog barking there with your stupid statements repeatedly, you are defending micromanaging policing. Also, you are defending the 5 individuals who were clearly involved in the murder of Joshua Samaru. So let me know this now and let Trinidad know this now. Mr. Guevara, who's Natalie from the Sangre Grande district? Do you wish to share any information before I share any information? Right. let's keep on going down this road now. Trinidad and Tobago, in the past few weeks, I released a video talking about the president and some of her very interesting practices. Now, me and cocaine have no relationship. Also, me and batty men have no fucking relationship. Literally, physically, and fundamentally in any format. But when I highlighted it in 2 of my videos, my phone began to ring from a certain 1-foot retired officer. And the government of Trinidad and Tobago seems to be his loyalty. Now, with that being said, I can highlight his name, but I'll do you one better. Anytime an individual could tell you it is more important to have air condition than food in your house, that kind of tells me your brain level. So when that same individual just happens to call you because a certain Mr. Smith is worried about how the president looks, that's when the president fucking resigns. Yeah, that's strike number 2 for deep voice banter. Because you're a fucking piece of shit and it was showing up. You do nothing for Trinidad and Tobago, but you gain millions. And hence what you have some very strange bedfellows, especially police officers who defend horse shit. I don't defend horse shit in any format. I don't even defend shit. I don't even defend toilets. So, with that being said, today is Monday the 10th, and Wade Mark is the president of Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah. So what's interesting about that is, don't you know, Wade Mark, along with certain other people, have some very interesting aggressions towards certain Hadeeds for many reasons? Yeah. So just a sec. It's shocking that my alarm came on simultaneously. But I have to laugh because everything does happen for a reason. That's what I've learned from since I'm small. So with that being said, I'll let him continue going off for the rest of the time to chillax. Now, I'll have that as an audio stamp, so anybody that's sharing my video, I'll know it's my video they're sharing. So here's this also. With all this transpiring, all these contract awardants and all these individuals who seem to be getting kickbacks from companies that somehow, I repeat, somehow, just were created in 2026. Don't you find it strange? Let's go back to a certain homosexual. Don't you find it strange that his family members are on many boards? His boyfriends are on many boards. His other friends are on many boards. Don't you also find it strange that a man who has a proven track record resigns from FCB? Don't you also find it strange that other people from TSCT resign also? Don't you also find it strange people from Napa, or in fact SAPA, were fired? Yeah. Trinidad and Tobago, don't you also find it strange a man pretending to be a woman working in WASA that was given that job because of his political affiliation? Don't you find it strange he has a man jockeying on TikTok and they allow this, and somehow he still has a job in our nice water company because he wants to see a man's water showing on social media? We have some very interesting issues going on. And just like dogs barking behind a yard because they're jealous, it happens frequently. So Tony Stark is a comic book character who's an atheist. But we have a Stark Entertainment trying to lie about things that he knows he's involved with. You see, it's interesting to commit crimes to get pity. So when you commit crimes to get pity and viewership for people to support you, hi, good day, to support you and get viewership and pity, and it doesn't work, it shows up more than anything else. So what happens is that you reach a crossroads like just what just exactly happened. You have to know to yourself, are you going to go down this road, or are you going to try to help the situation as a Trinidadian? The complacency of everything that's transpiring right now is remarkable in this country. And so far, what I've noticed is that people could literally forget about things for personal gain, because if they get paid off, nobody sees anything. This is the level that Trinidad has reached to. And from that happening, do you know anybody that knows things that don't want to change situation when Trinidad and Tobago is in economic depression, also high crime rate because of members of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service and active members of the government? If you don't ask yourself these questions, something will be permanent. And the thing about it, death is always permanent. So from that happening, you need to understand something. Do you want change, or do you want to be in personal reference of everything that is happening and say, oh yes, we need to keep on praying? Prayers doesn't work by itself. And they're not even mentioning the rapist's name in public because they're so ashamed of what's transpiring. Saving face is very important. That's why you have assholes from Diego Martin making up crimes, but yet still think it's okay to compare himself to Jay-Z. Very embarrassing is our understatement. I thank God that sense and sensibility is something very important. From that happening, people need to understand being smart and having a brain doesn't have a close relationship anymore, especially towards people who have political affiliation. I don't deal in stupidity in any format, but people need to understand something. We are going to experience the baddest El Nino version in history right now. And they said literally today that anybody suffering from kidney disease, anybody that has high blood pressure, hypertension, diabetes, will be severely affected in fact I should say, by the change in temperature. So the change in, what should you say, boy? In normal modus operandi, to straight blatant corruption, racism, stupidity, and ethnic superiority wanting to be shown. Will you all stay in that reference of being that stupid? That makes no sense. People usually have stigmatism towards certain ethnicities. So it's very nice when people literally compliment you in public for having a brain, because they say they've never seen a melanated African person talk with so much education. This is one of the comments I got, and you can see it in my comment section. So you see the arsehole who called me an N-word and was bragging about it, who's living in Canada, who originally from Chagonas, who's an East Indian. When you lose your visa and your citizenship because of what you did, I'm not gonna be shamed. Just remember, you're an arsehole, and a toilet and your butt and your mouth have a very close relationship. The reason I'm saying that, if I can't tell which one is your ass or your mouth, that means shit comes out naturally. So I'm bringing this to a close. I try not to be aggressive, and I'm looking at something. You know what happened? And I need to bring this into reference because I think way too many people suffering from this right now. If you have personal issues and you want to make somebody else suffer your pain, that means you're immediately a narcissist. Nobody wants your situation, but you're trying to make it okay to control someone, to be okay for your personal rejuvenation. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up, if you just happen to be a married woman and you're entertaining somebody who's not your husband, and you're highlighting his problems, and within that you realize only 5 months later, hey, I've been married 12 years. Yeah, and then you feel guilty at 12 o'clock at night sending a voice note saying you now realize, no, saying that I'm a married woman and I never ran down anybody before. That's guiltiness. Yo, that's narcissism 101. I like you, dude, but I have a dude 110 pounds to meet you. Right. American bullies are very smart dogs. They don't bark, they just observe. So that's who I just passed. So why I highlighted that stuff just now, don't ever let anybody, Trinidad and Tobago, dominate your life, your mind, your soul in any format and then try to make you look strange because you're speaking the truth. There are so many reasons why people are doing what they're doing. But we have abject poverty in Trinidad and Tobago, and it have prime ministers calling themselves stinking coolie. With that being said, Trinidad and Tobago, remember, I love you guys, and that's why I do what I do. Deuces. P.S. What you need to know in Trinidad and Tobago, all these deflections are for a reason, because your prime minister is a war criminal. And if you don't take that into context, it's because you don't want to. But the truth does hurt, and that is what exactly happens. So with that being said, just remember who told you first. And that's why when Delcy was arguing with her, that's why the nation of Venezuela came down upon her like a ton of bricks. But one thing I want you to also remember she stuck by Donald Trump's side, and notice visas went up, tariffs went up twice, and now we have no preference or reference to get any special dealings for oil, and it showed. And other than that also, when you're working in the energy sector, you focus on deals in the energy sector, not going to hotels and posting up pictures of Victoria's Secret's underwear. Do you hear that, Mr. Rudal Munilal? Right. So with that being said, now I'm God.